All right, everybody, this is Paul Neeson with the Real Life Health Show. We have a very special guest today. I know this woman for many, many years. Her name is Audrey, and she has a new program out called 90 Days to Wellness, or of Wellness, and she's going to talk all about that. But before that, she has an amazing testimonial about what diet and the scriptures have done for her and how they've changed her life. So, Audrey, thank you for being on the show. Why don't you introduce yourself to the Real Life audience?
Hi, this is Audrey Lee. And actually, I got involved with this industry actually from my own journey. I actually battled cancer over 21 years ago after watching both my parents die of cancer. Following the medical route, one had chemo, one had radiation. And 6 months after my mom passed away, I was diagnosed. But I didn't want to do chemo radiation because, from what I could see, it didn't work, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And actually, my grandmother's doctor that she actually worked for suggested that I do something different, which was change my foods. Now, I just figured I had control over that, so I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it really was, but I knew I could do it. So I began doing that. To 3 months I only had to do it before what I was told I was going to do chemo radiation, to find out that my tumor was gone, the mass was gone, and the doctors were surprised. And I was a faith person, so I was believing by faith that it happened, and I just believed that God did what He said He would do. Little did I know, like the blind man given an assignment, I'm sure he didn't know either that he could even go to a place and get his eyesight back, which was kind of strange that he got healed by putting mud on his eyes. But it was strange too to me that I got healed by changing my foods. But I found out after my journey that those foods that I was eating was killing me. And I actually worked in the beauty industry. And if anybody knows about the chemicals in the beauty industry, there's many. So there was a big revelation to me was that not only did I change my foods, which changed my life, I did it God's way, but I also found out that that beauty industry was not the best industry to be in because we beautify the outside while the inside is being torn apart. So I don't work in that industry anymore. I ran a salon for 16 years, and now not only do I help people internally, but I help them inside and outside. So my company is Inside Out Solutions. So I found the answers to all the inside and outside solutions.
Well, that's a wonderful, Audrey. Now, a lot of people will say that if they get cancer or diabetes or something else, it just runs in the family. Now, in your case, would you say it's the same diet that runs in the family that creates the illness, or is it and the same lifestyle that creates the illness? Because once people break away from that, they get healing stories like yourself, right?
Yeah, and I've seen it happen many, many times over because I go to all my family events or functions that they have, and they're still eating that food. I go to the funerals and watch them eat the same foods that put the people in the caskets that we go to see. And I just think it's just a generalized thing across the board, no matter what your traditions are. You're continuing to eat the foods that are open the door to death, sickness, and disease. And I just decided I'm going to stop doing it no more. And I've turned my life around. I don't eat those foods anymore. And I feel better now in my 50s than I did in my 20s.
Now, I just feel that there are a lot of people out there that I know who teach health. I know a lot of the authors out there. Some people listen, some don't. I just feel after reviewing your program and knowing you for years and the people you reach, the type of person you reach in terms of how sick or desperate they might be and how they change around because of your approach is so unique. I really feel that you're more going to get more people involved in doing this than the average person, even myself, because I reach a type of person. But when you look at the whole thing, I think your program is so greatly designed to reach the average person out there. I think you're really onto something here, and I just want to thank you for doing this. Now, tell us, what about, can everyone do this? What about children? That's a question I often get.
Wow, Paul, that's funny that you said that. Here lately, we've had a lot of mothers bringing their children to class because children are dealing with issues, whether they're tired. A little boy that just graduated from our class, he was 8 years old, and he took it along with another lady who was in our class. She was 83. Even though the 83-year-old said that she's learned more in those 90 days than she did in 83 years, that said a lot to me. But that little boy came up. He says, before I came to class, I felt like I was sick all the time because I listened to my friends who were always sick. But sitting in the class in the way, as he would say, Miss Audrey shared to us, I learned how to watch what was on the back of my food so I knew what was in my foods. And I can help my mom cook it, in the kitchen. She said she didn't cook before she came to this class. We always ate out. And she said, he said, all the foods we ate were making me sick. Now, he said that. He was 8 years old. But he said once the class was over, he didn't lose weight, which wasn't the issue. We don't want children to be focused on weight, nor do we want the students for that matter. But his mother did. And actually, when the class was over, they were both in the kitchen preparing things and planning out their meals. And that's what we did when we were younger. So we just want people to know this is the way it really was done back in the day. And we need to get back to the basics and do things God's way.
Sure. And as for the program, I want people to get a little understanding about it and what to expect. And but before we even do that, I want to let everyone know we're going to put a link below this video, and check out the link, and you can see more information and details about what exactly Audrey's teaching in this 90-day program. But tell everyone out there, because the Bible mentions a way of eating. Some of our viewers are understand that, and some don't. But things have to change a little when a person is sick or dealing with depression or illnesses. They got to get even more strict, and
Yeah.
they got to cut out things that they might be okay with on the average. So tell everybody, in your unique style of being strict, but also in a way where people are going to want to do it. What are the major basics of food that are the foundations of your program?
Well, I tell people if you don't take time to live, you're going to make time to die. That's just the way it is. And the way I tell them that is that God created a way in Genesis 1:29. He talked about all the foods that we should be eating. And they're actually fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, and seed. I tell people if they grow on the tree, if they grow on the ground, and if they grow on the vine, they're fine. And if they're not changed and rearranged or altered from their original state, meaning that it came in a bag, box, jar, or can, those are the foods that God created. My grandmother's 94 years old. She's on no medication. She told me that she never even bought vegetables in a can. She never heard of it until, she moved with my uncle and found that all of his vegetables were in a can. I don't know whether it's because he's a bachelor, but that's what was in the house. But she was used to preparing all of her foods from what they call scratch. And I believe that we're actually showing women how to be virtuous women again, how to take care of their husbands and how to take care of their children, and how to explain to kids now instead of not just taking them through things and just saying this is the way we do it. Instead of that, explaining why we do what we do. My grandmother did that. I didn't know why we were shucking corn. What do you shuck corn for? Can I just get it out of the can? Because it was available to us. We want people to know that we want to them to rearrange their kitchen cabinets, which we do a kitchen raid. We do an extreme makeover on recipes in the class. There is just so much that we do in that class that's so eye-opening that women, because moms haven't been home, are learning now how to really raise their children. Even mothers who are carrying children and eat the way they eat because they're eating for two, they think they can eat anything just because they're eating for two. We explain to them, 6 months before you even have a child, for those I had a lady who was her and her husband were having struggles. And I said, well, you know what? I believe that once you're in this class and you kind of get the foundation of what you're supposed to be doing, which is take care of your body, I believe that you're not going to have any problems having children. And in 5 months of the class, she was pregnant. So one of the things I tell mothers that want to become mothers is not only do you need to eat properly, but your spouse does too, because he's the seed that's being planted. He is the nurturer of the seed. He's the creator of it as far as what's being planted. And I've watched men, women, all kinds of people's bodies change just from going back to God's foods that were found in the garden, which is the foundation foods. I call those our foundation or our functional foods.
Great. So you're teaching people to be healthy, to eat healthy, to get healthy, and you're doing all this, and you're teaching them a way to do it where it might take longer than 90 days, but you're giving them the foundations that they're going to
Yeah.
change their life with. Now, tell us, besides diet, how much more does your program teach besides just food and the cooking and the preparing the meals? Is there a lot more lifestyle change to go along with the new food changes?
Yeah, we talk a little about the emotional connection. We talk about detoxification because we want people to know that the reason why sickness and disease, those doors have been open is because they opened them. They want to blame lifestyle, well, I don't want to say lifestyle choices. I tell them it's their lifestyle choices, but they want to blame that this has been passed down from generations because grandma had it and I'm probably going to have it and the doctor said I am. but we just try to get their mind renewed, which is the emotional connection. And when we can get that broken down, we not only help in areas where we're dealing with food that causes obesity. We watch people that were hospice care and they're now walking and talking and back into their everyday lives, which really blows me away. And then for people who have even eyesights are dim. I mean, the test ones are phenomenal just from just a little bit of the things that we've shared with them. I brought in a dentist, and the reason why I brought him in was because I don't want to say specialty area, but I was just so interested in where cancer came from. I just began to keep studying and studying and studying, and I went to the Gerson Institute. So I bought even some of the information from there that if I know someone's immune system is really challenged, I want them to know you've been beating your immune system down, it's just not working. So we teach about the organs and how each one of them need to be clean, how they can rebuild their body in 7 years. We teach a little bit about food combining because sometimes even though people change their foods, if they don't combine them right, Paul, they're not working inside either. You can't mix anything. If you do, you're gonna build a volcano inside of you. I know you know that. One of the persons that I found out about food combining is Dr. Wayne Pickering. He suffered back in his 30s. He's in his 60s now. Terrible stomach problems. And when I found out about that, I said, people probably might be dealing with that too. So I bought in some of his information. He has a huge chart that actually is a teaching vehicle that we give to people. We do walking in the class, which is, we call it a walk into wellness because a lot of people aren't moving because they can't move. So we teach a little bit about the understanding of why you need to move your body. We don't tell them that they have to belong to any gyms, any special workout area, programs that they have to do, but walking is something Jesus did, and everybody can do that. So we just kind of get them tied into the simplest way to do it, and we also show them how they can graduate and move to different levels of whatever they're doing to get their body started.
So, Audrey, tell us about. We're going to talk a little about the program in a moment here before we end, but tell us about uh, the actual some of it. How long have you been teaching this class, and about some of the testimonials? You already mentioned some of the amazing testimonials, but how long have you been teaching this, and some of the testimonials people have been having?
Well, we've been teaching the 9 days of purpose for about 10 years to over 3,000 people. And some of the testimonies have been as little as um, headaches going away, diabetes, medications being taken off of diabetes, people being taken off of even insulin. I mean, that really was a big one. Prostate cancer no longer exists. Kidney stones and gallstones, that was a big issue. A lot of people that are huge find out that these things begin to become prominent in their body, but when they begin to do some of the detoxes that we recommend, those things go away. We have seen cancer go away. We have seen women with hormonal imbalances and men too. Those go away. And you know what? A lot of men come to class. Their main concern is that waist that they're carrying now. They look like they're carrying a child, and they're never going to have a due date. That actually goes away, which is phenomenal too. But just a sense of well-being, energy, number one thing that I see in the class within the first 2 weeks, people restore their energy, which makes them feel and want to do other things. So, if anything, a lot of people complain about energy. That's one of the first things that actually, to me, is a sign of healing.
Wow. Well, and there are places around the country, around the world, that teach the principal foundations that you're teaching, but for so much money that people can't afford it. They can't go there, they can't get
Yeah.
there. One of the things I'm so thankful are is that you're teaching this information, but you're doing it at such a low cost. And it's amazing because I know how much time you put into this and doing the studying, and I've been to these other places. So I want the viewers to take this seriously and to really look at what Audrey's offering you here. If you've been waiting, now's the time. Don't wait to the first of the year to change. Do it now. Any day wasted is a day wasted. So, Audrey, tell us a little bit about how you teamed up with Well With You and myself, and what exactly we're trying to do here, and the dates, and exactly what's going on with this program.
Well, Paul, I don't know if Well With You knows that I found out about them through you. I was actually on your website and I was researching some information. I saw them there and saw a little bit of, I think, Jeff's teaching, and I ordered his Healthy Life series that he had, and I couldn't put it down. And I contacted them. That's just who I am, just like when I contacted you. And when I did, Haim called me and he wanted to know, well, how did you get our information? And I'm told him the same story I'm telling you. And he said, do you know that you could take this all over the world and reach more people than you're reaching? Because, we could get comfortable in our comfort zone. I was comfortable here teaching it in my church. No, I wasn't getting paid for it, but he said, you could bless other people by doing this and get blessed yourself. So that's how we actually connected. And Haim was here last week, right in my very own home where we actually videotaped everything. And I just feel blessed that, God connected the dot. I didn't connect them. I didn't know that you were going to lead me to them to lead me to where I am right now, but he knew. And I'm glad that I was it, can I say nosy enough to keep checking information out on your site? But I'm glad that you were the connector that made it happen, and you probably didn't even know that.
Well, I had an idea, but there's a master plan, and it's people are getting healthy and people are getting healed, and that's what's so important. So to everyone, the 90 days of purpose, we've been promoting the videos, we've been getting them out there for the last couple of weeks, and now it's time to get started with the program. All you got to do is just click the link below the video, and you can check it out and sign up, and you'll be glad you did. And give it a try, even if you think you don't need it, because everyone's going to benefit from this. And Audrey, we thank you so much. We know you're super busy with the program and helping hundreds and hundreds of people. And we thank you for taking the time out and to do this. I want to encourage everyone to do this program, and you'll be glad you did. And Audrey, thank you for joining us. And I know we're going to have more questions after this interview, so hopefully we can get you again and we can go over those. And
Yeah.
we definitely want to encourage people to get your book. So thank you for joining us, Audrey.
Thanks for having me. And as I tell everybody, live life on purpose because that's what God asked us to do.
All right, everybody, there you have it. That was Audrey Sanders and 90 Days of Purpose. The link is below the video. Folks, I'm telling you, I know Audrey for 10 years or so. A long time we've met, and I've met people over the years that have done our program, and they've had nothing but great things to say, and people often take it more than once. That's how good it is. So you definitely want to you can take this program, but don't just take it. Encourage your friends to take it. Pass along these links to your friends and tell them to get started. You'll be glad you did, and then you'll be contacting me with your great testimonials as well. So thanks for joining us here on the Raw Life Health Show, and thanks for Audrey for joining us. And if you have any questions or comments, post them below the video. Until then, have a great day and a great Raw Life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.